Our mission in 2025 is more relevant than ever.
I think it's just to hang on for dear life.
I feel like every app has been entering.
What was that sound? Dude, he's just getting that Ethan Klein representation.
We saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan.
And not a single Twitch security stepped in and even checked with her after it happened. How fucking disgusting is that?
I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event.
How is it a secure event? This is the second time in, what, 3 years that somebody attacked Emiru?
Even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there.
That was nothing.
You look right now on the trip up here where you've got Cinna and Extra Emily and Emmy together. There's just lots of women that are doing well in streaming.
And then you don't support their literal fucking existence, dude. You make them feel uncomfortable to utilize your own fucking app. Twitch hasn't said like, hey, what can we do to make women feel more comfortable on the platform? Well, you know what you could do to start? You could support your female creators after they get assaulted. If you're a content creator, especially a woman, realize that it's time to move on from Twitch. All right, guys, I'm curious about this. Taylor Lorenz posted this video where she interviewed Dan Clancy post Emiru attack, where Twitch did not even do anything about it. She was attacked, and then her bodyguard was the one that had to step in, that she pays. And she didn't even have to have one in the first place. That's crazy. You'd think Twitch would want to make their event feel safe. Never followed up with her, nothing. They also banned her previous bodyguard, who held a guy so they could arrest him after they attacked Emiru a couple of years ago. So this is great. Great track record. I think my favorite part about this video from Taylor Lorenz is that she posted teasers of it before it came out. It's not a movie. Why are you posting teasers of it when it's not already out? That's little content strategy. That's a little advice to you, sister. You know, be a little more productive. I know you're a little older, but me too. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So let's see what we got here, baby boys.
Their rise has come, a lot of their rise has come because they just...
I love this. First and foremost, Taylor, Alpha Move having less than stellar audio quality on your microphones. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Literally will create hundreds of clips from a single stream, often posting them while the stream is still live.
Whoa. Me, when that's how my content strategy for my platform works.
As live streaming becomes an
This song is really hip if you're 40.
increasingly dominant form of entertainment, Twitch is at a crossroads. On one hand,
they like to platform Hassan Parker, the biggest lefty guy ever. That's also a piece of dog shit. On the other hand, they appeal exclusively to incels who walk up in events and sexually harass and assault women. And Twitch does nothing about it. They don't care. They have bad security. They give him a slap on the wrist, 30-day ban until they get pressured into actually giving him a real ban. Hey, guys, we like Hassan because he's lefty? No, we don't protect the women at our events. Oh, makes us money. Makes us money. Oh, okay, maybe that one. Oh, now I get it. They like Hassan because he makes them money. It's not because he's actually like good for anything. He just makes them. Well, he's good for making money. He's not actually somebody who stands for the cause. Where was Hassan's criticism? Like, did he start getting pissed off? Like, wow, they didn't do enough to protect Emiru, or has he been fucking crickets?
to the platform
What do we think here?
is an undeniable powerhouse in the live streaming space.
All right.
It has evolved from a primarily desktop streaming platform to a mobile streaming app that facilitates hours of just chatting and IRL streams.
Just chatting.
Soon, you'll even be able to stream to Twitch via Meta's AI Ray-Ban smart glasses.
Whoa, what an advancement for the people who actually use that platform.
But not everything is rosy. The platform has struggled to effectively monetize. Monthly usage has fallen off since...
Well, maybe that's because, you know, they have so many pieces of shit on the platform.
2020 peaks, and it's facing increased competition from TikTok Live and YouTube.
I TikTok Live, I'm gonna say nah. TikTok Live is not, I don't think that anybody's traveling to TikTok Live. People are trying to get over to Twitch usually. TikTok Live is not exactly their primary platform still. They don't pay enough to make it like any meaningful primary platform. You're better off dual streaming, and you're not really stealing the audience because it's two different people. TikTok is when you got to take a poop. Twitch or YouTube is when you're sitting doing homework, right? So...
The culture on Twitch has also been called toxic and hostile for women creators.
Wow, I wonder why.
Dan Clancy is the CEO of Twitch, and it's his...
Dude, he's one step down, maybe up from a fedora. Hey guys, what should I do? Should I wear a fedora or should I wear a fedora extender? It's called the cowboy hat. Some people, it's a cowboy hat. For other people, based on the way they look, it's a fedora. If I wore that cowboy hat, maybe gay OnlyFans vibe. This is just giving me Long fedora vibes. Blessed, by the way, my lady. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Job to navigate these choppy waters. He sat down with me this weekend at TwitchCon to discuss how Twitch is evolving, its broader role in the creator economy over the next 10 years, increased competition from Hollywood, and how he thinks about balancing streamers' creative freedom with safety concerns. Here's our interview.
Dan, thanks so much for chatting with me.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, it's 2025, man. You're still wearing a goddamn mask? I don't know. All right, maybe she's immunocompromised or something.
Great to meet you.
Also, huge thank you to Stream Elements for setting all of this up.
Oh, nice.
I
What do you need Stream Elements for?
could not get it set up myself. First of all, I want
Just
to
get like OBS or something. It's free. What the hell?
ask you, how would you define Twitch's mission in 2025?
I think our mission in 2025 is more relevant than ever, and
No, it's not. I think it's just to hang on for dear life.
it fits, as we talk about creating belonging through our streamers and the communities they create. I often talk about how, in many ways, social media has become antisocial. Sitting and swiping in your phone doesn't connect you to people, and I think that's one reason why we've seen this enthusiasm around Twitch.
Yeah, I generally would agree with that. People form like a parasocial relationship with streamers because they don't get friends in IRL, for sure. I get that. I don't understand why the microphones are so low quality. If this is supposed to be her like career, I'm really not understanding why it's just so bad. I really don't get it from like a creator perspective. This has been her entire thing for how long, to try to be like a content creator. And like I've always said, like, you can have shitty video quality, you can't have shitty audio quality, because
I think people more than ever are looking for authentic connections with both other people, but also with the people, in this creator economy. There's a distance when you're just watching something on, a short form platform, and there's an authenticity that, you can't hide when you stream. And
there's an authenticity you can't hide. Bro, listen, most streamers are, I mean, I can understand if you do really long streams, sure, but everybody's performative. They've got all these like crazy, You got all these crazy fucking people doing like subathons, begathons, doing like these performative stunts for clippable moments for their content creation. What are you talking about?
So I think it's really going to the roots of what has made the foundation of Twitch, which is really community.
I feel like every app has been entering
What was that sound?
the live streaming space lately. I mean, obviously TikTok's been investing
You should have just redone that. You should have been like, oh, let's start over. Yeah, this is offline. Re-record that part. He fucking grunts.
so heavily in live.
Dude, what?
We've got Substack Live now even.
Just redo
We're also
it.
seeing a lot more multi-streaming, right? Which is, sort of becoming more of a thing. How do you think Twitch
This guy's having like fucking indigestion. He's declining all over the place right now. What the fuck's happening?
differentiates itself in this like increasingly crowded live streaming market?
Now everybody building a live streaming, it's actually been happening for quite some time. There was a period when YouTube, part of Google, Facebook, and Microsoft were all coming after Twitch. They were all doing big contracts to recruit our top streamers, and Twitch stayed on top.
Yeah, it's did they? Microsoft? I mean, maybe because Microsoft, when was this from? 2020 to 2020? Yeah, of course nobody cares then. What's funny now is that like all these different things are gone. There's no more really exclusivity contracts anymore. I don't know if people have noticed that or not. But there's no more exclusivity contracts. They just really don't exist anymore.
Mixer shut down. Facebook just sunsetted their live streaming, Facebook Live. It's still a valuable part of YouTube. And as you said, TikTok's doing it now. But I think the reason we were able to stay where we were during that period is the same reason why now I actually think it's good for us. Twitch is a community-centric live streaming app, and we focus on live streaming. And it's really important that the way you get a sense of community is that shared experience together. And that requires people to pull up and share and stay for a while. If you're watching live streaming on one of the other...
Sure. I mean, I will say, I think that Twitch to me is probably like, I would say it's like the biggest parasocial platform. And the only reason that I say that is because I feel like YouTube doesn't have the... Like, everybody can get some kind of an attachment to a streamer or whatever. But YouTube, I think, is very... Twitch, I think, is very unique because... there's a community on there already. There's really no YouTube streaming community There are people who stream on YouTube, but there isn't this like robust community. And honestly, there's like a toxicity that comes when you have like these robust communities. They can be fun sometimes, but like any community is like that. But there's just not the same, not in the live streaming way. Like there might be communities in general, but not in like the live streaming sense that I'm really referring to. It just doesn't exist to the same degree. Whoa, wrecked.
Platforms. If you take TikTok, you watch it, you've been programmed that if you get a little bored, your mind just says, come on, swipe. Let's see what's next.
Yeah, and as opposed to on Twitch where you log into somebody's platform and you get like unskippable like 2-minute ads. That's so much better. It's so much better.
Right? If you're watching,
it's really the nature of the primary place that you would go. The reason that TikTok really makes you want to like keep scrolling is because that's what it's for. So like live streaming, mixing that in can be a little bit difficult to get people to consistently engage in. That's just the nature of the platform. People are usually more meaningful when they turn on Twitch or turn on their computer and they load it up and they listen to their favorite streamer while they do their homework or whatever the fucking else.
Watching a YouTube video live and you get a little bored, your eyes glance to the bottom right. I was joking once with T-Pain. I said, you know who your big competition is on YouTube? It's this guy named T-Pain. He makes really good VODs and someone's watching you live and your eye just drifts because again, you're programmed whenever you're watching a video, when you're watching VODs to
he's on such a cope.
Look to the bottom right. And
he's got such a cope right now. That's just not true. He's trying to make it seem like the fact that YouTube has a wider reach of content is actually bad for them. Like, hey, when you're watching a YouTube, you feel so incentivized to just like stop watching YouTube and go click on another video. And only if you're bored. Really, only if you're bored, dude. Like, that's not the general experience. I don't think, generally speaking, people are watching a YouTube video and they're like, I'm really enjoying this, but I'm wandering to the right. What's that? I don't think that that's really happening. And I also don't think that people watch YouTube videos anymore. I think that they listen to YouTube videos for the most part. I don't think that, like, I've never really turned on a YouTube video in a very long time where I wasn't doing something else to distract my eye. The visuals are, in my opinion, almost completely irrelevant to this. It might as well be just fucking audio. Maybe I should fucking upload these on Spotify. I don't know. But they might as well just be audio at a certain point because people aren't really paying that much attention to it. They're doing things. You're working, you're cleaning your house, you're doing homework, you're playing a video game. I'm fucking playing a video game. You know what I mean? So I don't think that this pandemic exists. I think it is an issue. YouTube does, well, I would say struggle is a harsh word, but I do think that YouTube struggles to figure out how to fit having YouTube VODs, videos, and shorts all together in one. But and I think that they'll eventually probably get there. I mean, I'm a little irritated with the platform right now. Some of the over-policing has frustrated me and lack of transparency, but still, they are the better platform. But also, if somebody's on your live stream and they're getting so bored, their eyes are drifting to look for something else because they are bored, and they look to one of your videos and go, oh, that video looks good. That's not really a loss for you. Instead of them watching your live stream, that's usually, especially in this culture, uncurated. Like, people's live streams are generally not super curated, and they're not as organized. That's really the nature of typical live streaming. They're going to go watch your video that's a little more curated. Even in my live stream, like, I'll usually come on with something to talk about, but there's some dead air sometimes. Sometimes I'm taking a piss. Sometimes I'm reading donations or something. I don't put those in the actual video, right? In the video, I pause the recording, and then I read the donation, and then I cough, and then I continue on. So I think that, like, again, there's really no loss here. I mean, he's coping so fucking hard.
And so then you don't get that sense of community. And so I always say if people are just every now and then dabbling, it's like, use whatever platform. But if you want to build a community that like is really there for you, then do it on Twitch. And once you build a community, it's yours. Because the affinity on Twitch...
Just to be absolutely clear, this is something that you guys should understand. Every single person who streams on Twitch that is successful has a YouTube to post segments. And they need that for the additional revenue. Not every single person who streams on YouTube has a Twitch. Or that post on YouTube has a Twitch. Like, you don't need it. You can stream on YouTube, and you're probably better off. I mean, you're going to get better ad revenue, I would say. So...
is with the creator, not the platform. If I asked you who are your top 5 TikTok creators, you'd have a glazed look over your face because you wouldn't be able to think of 5 that are your top 5.
You don't think that people who like TikTok and pick their top 5 content creators? What? the fuck are you talking about?
You ask any Twitch fan, who are your top 5 Twitch streamers, they'll give you the answer right away. But
Okay, if you ask any TikTok creator, what's your favorite TikToker, top 5 TikTokers, I'm sure they'll have them. I don't really have a top 5 TikTok creators because I usually just look at dumbass fucking memes. I actually do. I like the one guy, the kid that goes, fuck you, grandma, bitch. I don't know his name, but he's funny. I enjoy that. I enjoy Miami Tony Stark. That's my number 2. Okay. Well, I gotta say my number 1 is Caleb Hammer. So that's 3. This is a loose top 5. Caleb Hammer, one of my favorites. I'll tune into his shit when I watch it. Let's see who else is on this on the page here. I don't know, dude. I guess I can only give you my top 3. What the fuck is my top 5, dude? Shit, dude. I guess he got me. I don't have a top 5. my top 5 for my Twitch is number 1, Kaya. Number 2, the shot caller. She beats it every time. Actually, never mind. The shot caller always wins.
Because the affinity is with the creator. And so we feel really good. And I think other people being in this space exposes more people to live streaming, both from a viewer side and from a creator side. So I think it just helps us.
I feel like, I mean, part of what you're talking about TikTok and YouTube, though, is the discovery aspect.
What the fuck, dude? Redo the take, Taylor. It's a 27-minute long video.
And those platforms have succeeded so successfully in discovery. What are you doing from a Twitch standpoint in terms of boosting discovery? Are you leaning into more algorithmic recommendations? Like, what are you doing to ensure that new streamers can...
They added their own TikTok a while ago, and when Dan Clancy was showing it off, he was showing pictures of e-girls that were flooding his feed because that's what he loves to consume.
Find their audiences and build that community.
Yeah, so part of this is so many platforms, they just look at themselves when they view the world, and it just makes no sense. You need
the fuck does that mean, Dan?
to think of yourself in a broader ecosystem and don't just stare at yourself. And everybody wants to say, well, I want everybody to do everything on my app. That's not what the user wants. So
dude, this is such a cope video. Like, he's coping so hard. He's trying to shit on TikTok. YouTube. Not everybody wants to do everything on the platform. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Here's the thing, you don't have to do that on YouTube. You could just use it for one thing if you want to. It's not a big deal. You don't have to use it for shorts, but they've created that availability. And I'll tell you from a creator perspective, again, some of the moderation can be frustrating, but from a creator perspective, it's kind of nice to have a hub on the platform. So I don't know what you're referring. Who are you talking about? To me, like, I know he's just trying to like recklessly shit all over YouTube, but this is like, I don't understand what you're talking about. To me, like, from a creator perspective, creators wish that Twitch had a VOD section that had decent revenue to have a competition with YouTube. They just simply cannot compete. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's because Dan Clancy is inept. I don't really know. Maybe he's just not a good boss. He's not good at his job. I don't really know. You know, that would be my guess. Just based on how I listen to him talk. But this is just him desperately trying to shit on YouTube. Honestly, you know what? I gave Taylor a little bit of shit for wearing the mask. It's actually valid. Dan will not stop coughing. He will not stop coughing over and over and over again. So you know what? Kind of valid.
So we absolutely are focusing on things for discovery on our app. But the difference you're talking about is more a difference of short form versus long form. And short form content, if you know, on TikTok, you might see 2,000 creators in a week.
Yeah.
On YouTube, you might see 500. On Twitch, you might see 10. And so the thing that creates the community on Twitch, the fact that you stay on the live stream in a long form experience, is the thing that makes discovery hard. So we absolutely are investing in helping people create clips, but we're very clear we don't want to, you know, be a short form content. We are a live platform.
What are you talking about? I swear, if you open up the Twitch app, they have an entire, like, I don't have the Twitch app on my phone anymore because I restarted my phone, but I swear to God, if you open up your Twitch app, there's a literal short form. They're implementing that. He's like, yeah, we don't really want that. Yes, you do. What are you talking about? And why wouldn't you want that? Like, he could say, like, yeah, you know, we're rolling out new things to compete with YouTube, blah, 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 blah. But he instead of sounding confident and being like, yeah, we welcome the competition, it's going to make us a better platform, his whole thing is like, yeah, nobody actually wants the things that they say they want. This is literally, I mean, we're going to get nerdy here. This was classic WoW. You think you do, but you don't. It's like, well, no, I do. Like, I do want it. What are you talking about, bro? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's why you get community. So we're investing
Where does this
for
guy
our
at?
platform, but a big part is also getting people to take their content from cool stuff that happens on Twitch, post it on other platforms, because you want your content to find your audience. And that's no different if you create a podcast, right? And you distribute your podcast through various different platforms, but then you create shorts that you'll put on TikTok.
Yes, that is the way that you work. You put your shorts on your short form platforms. The thing is that if Twitch was competitive enough, then you would just put your clips on Twitch as well, even to link to YouTube. But then that gives you a reason to be on Twitch more. It gives you more revenue platforms like on Twitch. Like, what are you talking about?
Because that's how you are finding your audience, not just new viewers. That's also how you stay top of mind with your existing viewers.
You talked about the kind of the unique bond that people have, and I've seen it so much firsthand of like this very deep parasocial bond, I would say, with
That she has with Hassan.
Twitch streamers really specifically. I think that reaches a level that doesn't even happen on platforms like YouTube and others. Obviously,
Yes, that's a good thing. I'm not like, I think that we need to understand that, like, it's not necessarily a good, I like that you guys like me, and I think that that's fantastic, but I don't really have any, like, I have fans that like me a lot, and they'll show up to like anything I talk about, which I think is awesome. I don't think I have any fans that are like obsessed with me, and I'm very happy about that. That's what the difference is. I don't want obsessed fans. Like, we're chilling here, and maybe that's just the type of content we do. I mean, we do fucking drama slop, but then I also like to keep like a pretty normal attitude where, okay, we're just chilling. Oh, Jesus, fuck my ass. Sorry. Anyway, but like, I don't want that. Like, that's so toxic. It's so weird. Like, that's like fucking that. I see memes all over, like TikTok of people like joking about how there are people who will spend thousands of dollars during like begathons, you know, because they love their favorite streamer. They're just looking for that one glimpse of getting a little bit of, you know, recognition. And I did not mean to do that. Of recognition and blah blah blah. And it's like, you shouldn't you shouldn't be fucking going into generational debt so that you can fucking give your favorite streamer some extra money who's probably making tremendous amounts of money just on ad revenue alone. That's insane to me.
we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan, and a lot of streamers have, especially female,
and not a single Twitch bodyguard. What am I saying? Not a single one of the Twitch security stepped in and even checked with her after it happened. How fucking disgusting is that?
streamers have talked about, you know, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year.
What he needs to do is be insanely aggressive. That the person that attacked Emiru should not have gotten a 30-day ban initially. He should have gotten permanently banned, and they shouldn't have set the standard that the police shouldn't get involved, because they already banned her former, like her favorite bodyguard from something similar like this happening a few years ago. That sends a message of like, we don't really care. It really does. It doesn't help at all.
Just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
Yeah. So the safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can, you know, make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. You know, when I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, well, I can't stop that. But when
what does that have to do with anything?
I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her to do that. But this is just something we have to keep working on. I think everyone identifies our tools in terms of trust and safety as the leaders in the industry about helping creators, but that means there's always more work to be done, because that's the world we live in now.
Emmy had posted earlier today.
This just wasn't an answer. Like, okay, why don't you go really hard on it and like fucking ban these people?
That I guess this fan was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon. Why should, I guess, streamers trust Twitch to keep them safe at TwitchCon? Because I feel like simultaneously this has been such a secure event to the point that even like journalists have had struggled. Like, you know, it is very secure. But
well, what? How is it How is it a secure event? I don't understand. This is the second time in what, 3 years that somebody attacked Emiru? How is it secure? And then you guys punished her former bodyguard for trying to do something about it. What?
But, here's this man that just walks up and is somehow able to bypass all these things. So why should they trust the platform when slip-ups or, issues like this have happened?
Right. Well, I mean, as you know, I think you toured some of what we do in terms of security. The reality is...
Oh, you gave her a curated tour. Yeah, I'm sure that's a really good experience. So that's a really accurate experience for the average person.
Even as you do a lot in terms of security in today's world, there are challenges that can present themselves, especially when someone is putting themselves out there, right? And so, we try to work very closely with each creator about what they want to do and what works for them. So I don't want to get into any, specifics or details, but part of that is working with creators and, trying to find, and right now we're definitely, ramping it up to make sure creators know that we have the resources there to help them figure out what's right for them.
We've also seen
What the fuck, dude? What is that? That's not even an answer.
This record assault on free speech by the
He's just continuously doing
Trump administration and efforts to increasingly target online speech. Obviously,
dude, if you're a content creator, especially a woman, and you've saw the Emiru thing, and then you saw this as the response, why? I feel like you should realize that it's time to move on from Twitch. Honestly, that was nothing. What we heard was a guy who doesn't really care, just be like, yeah, it kind of happened, and we're gonna see what we could do. This is the same guy who said that he should get a month ban initially instead of a permanent ban, right? We understand this. That was who we're talking about. He's creating an atmosphere where there's just not enough monitoring.
Basically targeting platforms like yours. What are you doing to protect freedom of expression on the internet?
The good news is so far, I think we already were in a slightly different place. We have a set of community guidelines that
you guys seem to violate all the time. Or some people seem to violate them all the time, I'll tell you that.
Focus not on what you say, but how you say it. Okay. And we're very serious about trying to figure out how to apply those consistently across. And so far we have not.
Have you not been able to figure it out?
Had any challenges in terms of the areas you're talking about. I think that's in part because, we've always been sort of balanced in terms of that. And I think there's something about live that makes it, less prone to some of the challenges that happen on other platforms.
They tried to, for some reason, involve you guys in the Charlie Kirk stuff, wanted to haul you in front of Congress. I think that hearing is sort of indefinitely postponed. But are you doing anything to sort of proactively ensure that you can sort of protect the people on your platform from government pressures around speech?
Yeah.
Well, no. What?
The interesting thing is, as you talk about proactively...
The interesting thing is I don't think Twitch is relevant enough for people to care. It's becoming less and less mainstream every day. I honestly think that's what's really happening.
You do it. The biggest thing is you need to be ready to respond when there's a challenge.
Yeah.
Right? So we are.
Really? You need to be able to respond when there's a challenge? That's so based.
That happens. Again, it hasn't happened. I think people express a wide range of views on the platform, and there hasn't been a big issue there. But we're ready if something does, challenge us.
Why do you think that you guys got dragged into that when it was sort of following the Charlie Kirk shooting? Didn't seem to be any connection.
There's no connection. I think it's purely what I'll call is company association. They need some number of N people. If you did a cluster of companies that, end up having users that overlap, and you had Reddit and Discord and Steam, and you say, tell me the fourth company, and you can't mention one of the big ones because you have to have balance. You can't mention X or Facebook or YouTube. Then it's like, well, what's the fourth? So it's proximity. I don't think, to me, I'm not that worried.
Did anybody give that much of a fuck? Is anybody oh my God, Twitch? I mean, they might have said Hassan is part of a part of the whole algorithm of feeding off of hate, which is true. Hassan, again, he goes around, he waves fake guns around, and that's his thing. He suggests that certain Ela Klein is a valid military target. He does the same thing. He plays off the hate, I would say, in a somewhat similar way to Charlie Kirk did. I would not doubt. I genuinely do believe that. So But I don't think anybody, I don't know, dude. Is Twitch, I feel so fucking irrelevant now.
About it, because I think, he had no experience. We do not have this problem of radicalization on Twitch. It's
okay.
Public forum. We don't have these private.
It's funny. You keep talking about there's no, I get what he's saying. Okay, since there's no private conversations, we can't be radicalized. But there are people on here who are very extreme. And let's not even bring it to Hassan. Again, like, just keep in mind, like, what was one of the biggest things he said? Oh, there's really strong communities on Twitch that doesn't exist on YouTube. Yeah, I agree. Where do you think people get radicalized? Because they have a really strong parasocial relationship with their favorite content creator. So you know, it's tough to brag about it in one hand, and then on the other hand, be like, no, it doesn't exist, right?
Groups. One way to think of it is, if you really view this from a honest and sincere perspective, these things are trying to get information. And to be honest, they probably don't know that much about Twitch.
Yeah.
Right? They're not Twitch users.
CFO includes Valve, is Gabe Newell, and Twitch Dan Clancy called to testify? Okay.
So I feel really good that we have, in terms of them trying to understand this landscape, they'll realize, oh, Twitch doesn't really fit with these other ones.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're talking about a group of lawmakers that probably don't know how to turn their computers on. So I don't know how.
Taylor, you don't even know how to post clips of your content productively or effectively. Like, you put up a teaser beforehand because you think that it's like still the 1990s, and it's like, hey, let's put up a clip to a movie before it releases. That's not how these things work. Like, people don't work that way anymore. Things are much more fast paced. And so when she releases a snippet of like the commentary, a week ago, and then she's like, hey guys, I got this interview out. That's why I did so many low views, because she didn't really get it out in a more productive way. She got a clip of it. So, I mean, Taylor, you don't know what you're doing either. I don't, so it's a kind of a silly, the Congress, Congress is old and they don't really know what's going on. And Taylor, you're getting up there. So, I mean, I'm old too. So I'm, pot calling the kettle black, I guess, but still.
Familiar they are with Twitch. I mean, it seems like a lot of people in Congress are certainly familiar with figures like Hassan Piker, who was brought up at the mayoral debate for some.
Hassan Piker. Dude, he's just getting that Ethan Klein representation.
God knows reason why. And I'm curious, like, when you look at top talent and also efforts to deplatform top talent, especially from not just from the government, but these really intense like pressure campaigns that come from sort of like other big voices online, even the media.
I mean, dude, listen, Hassan is a very toxic community of people, and that's what he wants. So he still comes from the debate bro, fucking debate pervert community, man. Like, just because he's just because he's on Twitch and he's moved on, he's more mainstream, doesn't mean that he still did not come from Destiny's community, which is kind of a reality, man. Like, I sorry, but and my understanding is it's more toxic. Hassan's community is more toxic than Destiny's community. So,
to deplatform, censor people. How do you guys navigate that as a platform, and what do you do to ensure that big creators can continue to remain on Twitch? Because we've seen other platforms cave to public pressure to deplatform their own creators. Right.
I think a big part of it is having a clear North Star. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to understand what your policy is and what you think is right, and then you need to be willing to just consistently apply it. The reality is,
it's so funny because there are so many people, Lorenz, Dan Clancy, who seem really comfortable just trying to assert things confidently, even if they're not true. And that tactic works for Hassan. It worked a little bit better, pre-Shocktober 7th. Because despite the fact that Hassan lies, he has enough credibility with his audience for it to pass. And so he's a masculine, confident character, and people just kind of take his word for it when he says stuff. But it doesn't really work for you guys because you guys don't have like any credibility or, what would we say, like air of credibility or performative credibility, looking credibility, like even, mask. You have no mask of credibility. Nobody ever thinks that you're credible or incredible. Like, that's the problem. Like, I don't think that there's a lot of people that are like, tell Lorenz, like, she's definitely always trying to do her best to be accurate. No, like, I still remember the whole Denelli situation where you had like some 17-year-old kid and he was making like stupid content where he was making faces, and he would make like frowny faces when he saw like a gay person dressed in drag, and it was inappropriate and he shouldn't have done it. He was 17 and he apologized, and he had like all of his platforms banned over and over and over again until Lorenz went on, and instead of I don't think she interviewed him, but she interviewed some dude who was like legitimately harassing him and like sent people to harass him, like said something really nasty about him. And then when the kid, it was this heartthrobbert guy, and when the kid put that guy's words back at him, people were like, yo, what the fuck is this? And he's like, I'm getting harassed by this guy, he's harassing me because I'm gay. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Social.
And like, she uncritically did that. I still remember that shit. Like, she has a narrative. She goes in with a narrative that she wants to go in with a narrative, and then she pushes it. That's my interpretation of what she does.
Media world, no matter what you do, there will be those people who want to attack you in some. So you can't make decisions to avoid any type of, backlash from some vocal group. No matter what decision you make, you're going to have that. So given that, you can't do it by trying to avoid or ban or whatever, right? You just have to say, okay, what do we think is right for our platform? And then just stick to your guns. And over time, that's going to make sure you can continue what you're doing. Because as you say, it's important for our creators to feel like we're going to consistently apply these things.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that is so well and good, and obviously I agree with you, but then it's really hard, and I empathize with executives going through this when you are in the midst of those campaigns and people are calling your advertisers, right, or targeting these.
Killing me with these. Dude, stop. Come on, dude. He's got to get some omeprazole, man. Me too. I got heartburn too, but it's just clear that this guy's just like, I just feel like, yeah, like if he's doing that, turn his mic off or something. Like this is another thing. And I don't do this because I don't care. I'm a fucking streamer. But why aren't you have 2 separate mics on him, I think, or do they have a shared mic? Why don't you have 2 separate mics on them? And then what you can do is you could separate the audio. So if he does go, like, you can just turn off his microphone when he's not speaking and it won't have like an impact. You know, these aren't like super complicated things here. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think that the journalists would know this.
People like to really hold
firm.
And I'm curious, you know, has it ever been difficult to navigate that, especially with Amazon as a sort of a parent company as well?
Well, I mean, I think Amazon's been very supportive. Some of this is you just got to play the long game. That's one thing I have to do. At times people will attack me and you just need to look forward and realize, nope, keep going, play the long game. This is the world we live in now.
Yeah. Speaking of Amazon, you know, Twitch sort of started out or was acquired a long time ago, right, as sort of build out Amazon Gaming. It's sort of gone through like all these different iterations. I'm curious, you know, I think Twitch has had 4 years of declining users, struggling to make a profit.
Damn, she's just fucking coming at him. She's blasting him right now.
Creators feel about the future of Twitch? And, you know, Amazon is have you ever worried, I guess, that they're concerned about the fact that Twitch isn't growing or that it's not meeting their ultimate goals?
Well, this I'd say, the one part as you're saying that I would disagree with in terms of when you say struggling to make a profit. Okay. Ultimately, the question is, do we have a sustainable business that works? Part of what we've been doing is looking really closely at how we run the business. Right?
I mean, do they have a sustainable business that works? So I looked into it. Twitch does not turn a profit. They're not a profitable platform. Some analysts suggest the Amazon views Twitch as a loss leader or strategic investment to support other services like Amazon Prime rather than to be a standalone profit business. I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know. I don't know, dude. Is it a loss leader? Are they writing off the loss? Is that why they have it? I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense because I wouldn't look at Amazon. Like, look, the Twitch Prime, the Amazon Prime thing that you get. I feel like it's not a good business model. Like, to me, Amazon Prime existing doesn't really scream. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me, bro. I don't know. Like, it doesn't really it's not really smacking my balls, because I feel like if you're somebody who put this here. If you're somebody who I don't think anybody's getting fucking Twitch or getting Amazon Prime because of Twitch. To me, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, Mom, you have Twitch. Can I do your free sub? You know what I mean? It's not like, I don't think it's a selling point for fucking anybody. Like, who's getting sold on it? I don't think anybody's getting sold on the platform. Truthfully, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I don't know, man. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I just don't think it's doing anything for anybody. Yeah, it turns a profit into a loss. Yeah, that's actually funny. I don't know, dude.
Right, we used to have a different approach in terms of doing these contracts with creators that were expensive.
Yeah, and you can't afford them anymore, so you had to cancel them. Yeah.
And we made a number of tough choices with like Korea, which was not something that because of the streaming costs. And actually, I feel very good about where our business is right now. In terms of what I'll call is the sustainability. We don't talk about where we're at now in terms of profitability is this one point in time. Really, what you want to do is understand, does our business work? When you look at the cost of content, the cost of streaming, the cost of running the service, we've made we've slimmed down our organization. So I feel actually extremely good about the health of the business. In fact, we've been doing very well in terms of the health of the business continuing.
I mean, there's nothing else that he could say that would be like, oh yeah, okay. Like he's really got nothing else that he could really say. I mean, he's got to be like, yeah, I think it's doing all right. Like that's it.
To ensure it's sustainable. It is the fact that, with the broader dynamics after COVID, but it's interesting, and I don't have it right here. When I look at the curve of our usage, if you just ignore these peaks during COVID, you still see this pattern like this, right? If you
okay, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to be financially sustainable. So there's an issue with that.
drew a line from what was happening before COVID
So you're talking
to where
about
we
like
are right
2020,
now.
basically. So 2020
Right.
was
If
this
you look at 2016, if you look at it, 2016, 17,
You're still
18,
overall up,
19,
is what you're saying.
and then you look here, you see what's a line. It's just it happened to do this.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's because people had so much time, and then they...
Oh yeah, sorry guys, I forgot to put the video back up. I accidentally closed out the video, my bad. It's okay, don't worry about it. It's only a couple seconds.
They were still connected and
Guys, don't worry. I just thought you wanted to see more of the gameplay.
slowly, with Twitch, it just kind of slowly, drifted out. But what we actually see...
Fizzles out. Yeah, I think that's true too.
The interesting thing, when you look at what I'll call the kind of cultural significance of Twitch, it's never been higher.
Yeah.
I disagree.
Right? And so...
if you take out COVID, I guess, but not really. It's dwindling down. You guys had a pretty big opportunity to grab a bunch of people from COVID, and then it kind of just farted off. Controversy after controversy, and, kind of just got hit. I wonder, I don't know how prominent Dan Clancy is, but I wonder if part of the problem was that Dan Clancy, seems to be, he seems to want to be like a person, which just seems stupid to me, I don't think it's a good play for this business owner to be a person, because then when bad things happen, you go, oh, that person is bad. I don't know. I just feel like YouTube and other platforms, they don't really, their figurehead isn't super prominent. Like, hey guys, I'm here. I'm looking at e-girls. They don't really exist in the same way. I don't know if it's a positive, productive thing for them.
So too often, I think we get caught up in these one metrics, right? Especially the ones that third-party services can ping.
Yeah.
What? Are you talking about viewership?
Third-party services don't see how much money our creators are making.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's not in our API. And by the way, third-party services, because they don't actually, they're actually estimating based upon when we eliminate view bots, third-party services detect that as viewership going down. It's like, no, viewership didn't go down. Our internal metrics were never, dealing with these view bots. It's just you were dealing with them. And now we eliminate them. So now you infer this, and it's like, no, we don't have fewer people.
I find this funny because he's trying to frame it as a good thing. Hey, well, we came after view bots finally went after viewbots. People reported the viewership went down, but it actually didn't. There was just as many people. Yes, that's the point. That's the point that they're making, is that viewership went down by a substantial amount, despite the fact that the same number of viewers were there. There was just a lot of bots. You know what they mean when they say that. There's
revenues had not gone down. So it's a noisy signal when you look at that. But if you think from a cultural impact, it's never been bigger.
I would agree with that. Impact. I recently wrote actually about this in the Hollywood Reporter.
I agree with that. I wrote about it. I'm a writer. I'm a journalist too. I'm a doctor too. I don't care. I know.
About kind of the impact of live, and it seems like live is this ascendant format. At the same time, we're...
Well, what does live have to do with Twitch? I mean, I understand that what Twitch has to do with live, but there's more than just one.
Entering this new era of social media, though, that is so AI driven, and it seems like this era of mass broadcast social maybe is also sort of more declining. People are...
Social media, like Mr. Media? You guys remember that show?
Not so interested in posting publicly
to
everyone all the time. There's the rise of private social platforms. So I'm curious how you think about that cultural relevance and building that
cultural, you should read that take.
Cultural relevance and maintaining that cultural relevance into the next decade as we have the rise of all these new sort of synthetic, forms of media.
Well, of course, you never know how these things evolve. And I think any business is prone to see the positives as they think through these futures and say, yeah, but it's good for me, right? That's just it. But I honestly do think in terms of what makes us tick as human beings, we evolved to seek community. That's how we survived. And every part of our being is designed to connect with other people. And there are these things that hack that and give the impression of that. But an AI bot is not connecting with another person.
I guess I generally agree. I still think AI is a little scary. It depends on the type of person and how much they value like humanity. So,
it isn't. And so like,
since you got people going on there saying some wild shit, I'm not sure that your platform oozes, we value humanity.
for example, whenever people talk about AI and Twitch, I'm like, I'm not worried about AI bots taking over Twitch. If all I'm looking at is a photo, I didn't actually have there's a photo on Instagram.
Yeah, but the point is, what if people like, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. I'm not really worried about AI, but that's the point is like, what if the AI becomes so realistic you can't tell it's not AI? That's the point that's being made. So there should be like, yeah, we're a little bit concerned and we want to figure out how to flesh out to see if something is or isn't AI so that we can make sure that actual people have a priority. This could have been a really good opportunity to like say something like that.
It's actually not a real connection. It's a two-dimensional photograph, right?
And also, you don't really have a real connection with people on Twitch either, just to be clear. It's just a lot of like, you shouldn't have too much of a parasocial connection either.
And so, yeah, the two-dimensional photograph, that maybe AI, takes over two-dimensional photograph. But I will say we are four-dimensional people, because obviously we live in three-dimensional space, but in fact, all the emotion, everything else about who we are and how we change. And so I actually think
that wouldn't really make a fourth dimension, but okay.
All those changes, it's almost
I
like
think that's like him trying to be philosophical.
Like it fits perfectly because more and more people are going to be yearning for some type of authenticity in their lives with other people.
One thing that I've noticed a lot is Twitch is very male oriented. It seems like there's a lot of male creators. When I spend time,
I wonder why.
In more female-oriented, I guess, live streaming spaces, like the Like to Know It app, has this like live stream space.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Like to Know It is a sponsor. Is she going to disclose that this is her sponsor?
Talk Shop is huge. How do you think about like?
That was 100% a sponsor. What the fuck? Nobody even knows what that is. That's not huge. There's no way. That sounds like a fucking unpaid advertisement. What the fuck?
Cultivating that female creator viewership, and are you thinking live streaming shopping is so popular, and it is really popular, and especially with the women lifestyle influencers? Are you leaning into that at all or experimenting in those spaces?
I don't know the exact stats, and Busby can get them, but more and more in terms of our viewer base, it's more and more women, right? Same thing in terms of...
I don't think any women are like, wow, let me go over to Twitch at all. They don't think that this is like a popular platform for women. I think if anything, YouTube is probably better because it's kind of like an amorphous or like let's you know what it is, like a non-binary platform. Okay, nobody, there's no... Like, I like YouTube a lot because pretty much everybody has a YouTube. It's just kind of like, it's like a TV. It's like TV. That's what the whole point of it is. And I like that about it. It's not even a criticism at all. But it's just kind of like this. It's like TV,
Streaming. You look right now on the trip up here where you've got Cinna and Extra Emily and Emmy and Bonnie doing a trip together. There's just lots of women that are doing well in streaming. It is.
Yeah, and then you don't support their literal fucking existence, dude. You make them feel uncomfortable to utilize your own fucking app, bro. That's a problem. Do you not see that as a problem? Like, what the fuck?
The fact that sometimes pure hours watched, gaming generates a lot of like bulk in hours.
Yeah, YouTube went woke, true.
Watched, right? And it's probably the case that many of these women streamers are really diversifying. They tend to be variety streamers. One thing that I've said broadly about our platform, we have evolved from being entertaining gamers to entertainers that game. And so
I find this so funny because realistically speaking, I think that there probably is a space for female anything. Let's say video game streamers to succeed with a female audience. It's not Twitch. I don't think that there's any female content creator on Twitch that has a majority female audience. And what they have to do to succeed on Twitch is they have to appeal to these men. It might be showing their boobs. It might be kind of developing a parasocial simp-esque relationship with their creators. And we know this, though. We know that women can't really be women because they keep getting bombarded by a lot of incel men. And we know why that happens. It's because when Emiru was attacked at TwitchCon, Twitch's response was to do nothing. None of the security came and helped at all. They didn't check in on her at all. They gave the guy an initial 30-day ban, which is a slap on the wrist, until they finally felt pressured to do it because there was public backlash. And that was only because some random person was deciding to film it and then post it onto the internet. And so Twitch has done a horrible dog shit job of trying to figure out how to get women to the platform so that other women feel comfortable. Because we know that there is a level of audience capture in a platform. You're going to want to appeal to your audience, which makes perfect sense. But if you only have men to appeal to as a woman, what are you going to do? You're going to show your tits, or you're going to have to play into that relationship if you want to remain successful. It's the unfortunate reality of the world. So Twitch hasn't said like, hey, what can we do to make women feel more comfortable on the platform? Well, you could do to start, you could support your female creators after they get sexually assaulted. Probably a decent spot.
I think sometimes the metrics can be a little misleading because it is the fact that there is some that can be, where the metrics, because gaming still can generate a lot of hours watched. But if you look at the clips on Twitch, and I don't have this, suppose I was able to measure third-party clip viewership on Twitch. I think you would see a lot of third-party clip viewership of women streamers. We see that.
What is third-party clip viewership? Are you saying not on your app viewership? What does that have to do with you, motherfucker? What the hell?
An effort bringing over lots of folks that have been building on other platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and a lot of women streamers there. So, I do think that... I don't know. Okay. As live streaming evolves, interestingly, I think it's better suited for women streamers and viewers. That
No, it's not. Just stop it.
Kind of community connection is a role that often women have played in our society, right? And when you think of other shows, other things, I think live streaming fits well for that.
Well, the content creator industry as a whole is female dominated and was built by women. And
the content creator industry is female dominated. Okay. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. It's because there's so many OnlyFans girls. Right? Like, God bless, do your thing, make your money, catch your bag. But you're trying to make it seem like women are in the world. And like, they can, I guess. But like, again, Twitch really only offers a platform for women who are willing to objectify themselves in some sense. And I think that's a Twitch problem. They have not tried to solve the problem of diversifying the audience that wants to consume the content by making women feel more comfortable. Do I know how that happens? No, but I'm also not getting paid money to figure that out.
And community, in other words, this kind of desire for community is something that fits very naturally.
Yeah.
So I see, as we continue to evolve kind of more broadly, I see women playing a bigger and bigger role. You bring up shopping. It's something we're
women do be shopping.
We're always keeping an eye on. Obviously, it's really big.
What's up with these fake ass Pikachus, bro?
In China, Amazon has a live shopping,
which a lot
experience.
of female influencers are on.
Well, they're better off doing that on TikTok because it's directly incorporated into the actual thing,
and have found huge success.
Yeah. So that's something where, how do we bring them over to Twitch? So it's something that we're thinking through and keep.
You really can.
Keeping an eye on it.
The only way that you could is if you were willing to spend money to innovate, and they're not going to be willing to do that because I think we understand that Twitch is on a dying life cycle. That's I think that's what Amazon looks at Twitch. It's like, yeah, they're stable. We think maybe it's bringing in ad revenue, or we think maybe it's bringing in revenue because people have Twitch, primes, and it keeps, maybe they have the kids badger mom and dad to keep the Twitch. Oh, mom, no, don't get rid of your Prime membership. I want to be able to give my favorite streamer $2. I mean, that's all we got, dude. Like, what the fuck? So I don't know what to tell you, man. Okay.
It is a different space, but I do think there's opportunity there.
What do you think the future of live streaming is going to look like in 5 years or even 10 years down the line?
I think it's this idea, if you look at where we've been, in general, live streaming have been dominated by people who are first and foremost streamers. I think that is in part because of the origins. When live streaming started, of course, gaming.
There's so many cuts here, but like, they didn't cut out all of his coughing in the beginning.
Every of the competitors started out as general.
Or maybe they started doing it now. They're like, hey, you're coughing a lot. Let's redo this.
live streaming apps. I was at YouTube when we started YouTube Live. It was a general live streaming app. It really became a gaming. Facebook Live was a general live streaming. It became gaming. Twitch was Justin TV. It became gaming. The world has gone full circle, interestingly, from where all the apps started. But it's still the case that most of the people who link to their home, they're first and foremost streamers. I think the change you're seeing now is more and more people using live streaming as a secondary conduit of engaging their audience, community, or whatever.
Sure.
So if you go through 5 to 10 years, I think you just have more and more people that they may not be streaming 20 hours a week or 30 hours a week, but they're like, yeah, no, I need to stream 3 hours a week. If you take musicians, right? Musicians used to have this, that right.
So your answer is, hey, I think that 5 years from now, people are going to use my streaming exclusive platform less. I agree with the sentiment that people are realizing that they don't need to stream as long, and they probably shouldn't stream as long. That they need to make maybe a little more entertaining curated content, that legacy streamers who are on 12 hours a day, that is not the standard anymore. You do not need to do that. And I think it's actually bad for you. You're better off streaming 2 or 3 hours a day, maybe 4 to 6 days a week, maybe 2 to 4 hours a day, 4 to 6 days a week, and then doing like editing work and getting yourself out there. But when you ask like, hey, where do you see streaming in 5 years? Like, where do you see Twitch in 5 years? If you're acknowledging that live streaming is becoming less and less popular and successful, and less of a primary, like, do you understand that looks really bad for your platform? Like, what do? You're a streaming exclusive platform. How do you maintain that? What do you do? How do you adjust to this? What do you do? Like, what do you do? How do you adjust to this okay. I don't get it. You'd think you'd want to compete with YouTube in some way by making like VODs more available or videos more available, even if it's not to all creators. Maybe it's just to some creators, but you'd think that, like, I don't understand why they haven't integrated that yet. I really don't.
An album, the tour.
Maybe they don't think it's worth it because you get substantially more money in ad revenue from YouTube. So they're like, we wouldn't be able to compete with that. So people are just going to post on YouTube anyway. I don't know.
That disappear for 2 years and then come back.
Like, so far they've gone from like, hey, you can't dual stream on this platform to like, oh, you can now. They've already like had to adjust themselves to become like just like a lesser platform, a secondary bystander platform.
That's not the world we live in, right?
The only reason, sorry for pausing so much, the only reason that people want to make content on Twitch is either one, because they don't understand that YouTube is a better streaming service, or number 2, they want to just stream DMCA shit recklessly and not give a fuck.
Right? They need to stay connected to their community. And more, I think, look, if you have a fan base, like, engage authentically with them. You don't have to just play music. Do something you love, right? Knit. So I think you'll see more, and we see that.
You think that you have like a knitting stream?
Right now, when you see, the stud buds with WNBA.
Love the stud buds.
Yeah,
obsessed with that.
I think that is the poster child. Think of more and more.
But this is their YouTube channel. What?
These folks that are doing it when it works for them, but they don't have to do it all the time. And so if I'd say with 5 to 10 years, it's like everyone that's an entertainer, athlete, musician, influencer.
So streaming just becomes another content format, almost like short form is a content format. I agree with you.
Yeah, but if you're not as competitive financially as YouTube, what's stopping them from going onto YouTube?
On that, actually. And I think that
unironically, how long until YouTube starts doing, or excuse me, until Twitch starts doing like porn streams? I think in the next 5 years, YouTube is going to start doing porn streams. Mark my words. I'm just saying, dude. People have been predicting that switch to happen, and I don't think it's, since 2015-ish, even before, but I think you're probably right. Another thing that, is big right now in this sort of creator world is this shift and this sort of like merging with traditional Hollywood. You're at the Screen Time conference last week, and it seems like a lot of these social platforms, and really the creators on the social platforms, are doing these big time deals with, Darman doing like a Tubi deal. Samsung is giving... Oh, yeah, dude. Did you guys know that? I saw fucking Darman TV, bro. It was insane. I was flabbergasted when I saw fucking Darman was how do I get my stupid fucker out of that? Oh, I'm dead. I was flabbergasted when I saw that Darman was able to fucking like get an exclusivity contract. That was shocking to me.
Giving all these deals to creators, like, it seems like
it's hard to have control over like where exactly your where exactly your fucking character is going to stand.
Like, there's just this merging. What do you think of this sort of like merging of traditional entertainment with the creator space? So
obviously we encourage it. I think it's a great opportunity for our creators. I think the world is just becoming more what I'll call creator centric. And I think that is about that kind of connection. When you think of Hollywood movies, right, a movie creates a character. It's not who the actor is.
What the fuck?
Right? But more and more you see these people where it's who they are that is appealing to people, right? I often say, if you look at Kevin Hart in some ways is IP, right? Kai is IP, right?
Weren't these the people that, like, didn't Dan Clancy say, I have no fucking Mega Evolved Pokemon, so I'm shit out of luck. Didn't Dan Clancy like say that he wasn't, that the Kai wasn't going to get on like the whatever it's called? Like they weren't going to get on the coolest streamer list, or the fuck it is called. And
the world is moving more and more where people want connection to and by creator, that includes actor, right? In terms of who they are. And you see that by now having these creators now having these vehicles, but these vehicles are usually focused on them. They aren't really actors taking on some other character.
Yeah.
They are who they are. And I often say,
you don't think that there's like a level of acting that they're engaging in? Okay. That's cool.
I mean, really, the rise of podcasting is the rise of the creator economy. Anyone who has a podcast, it's a creator-centric, it's premium UGC content.
Which we're seeing these podcasts now, you know, moving to Netflix and et cetera. And hopefully we see a lot more. I feel like one thing that's shifted in the past few years on Twitch is this more structured programming, like Streamer University or some of these, like really, like obviously what Kai is doing so much.
It's like they're brainstorming in real time about the future of Twitch. It's like this guy's never actually thought about it in any meaningful capacity to have like a concise answer for this question.
In his like subathons and stuff. Could you see something like that, on, like getting that content onto like a streamer?
Absolutely. I think all these
streamer
things.
Meaning like Netflix platform.
I know. Absolutely. I think all these things are kind of blending and merging. And we used to have this concept of premium and UGC as phrases. The way I describe it is there's a parameter, which is how many human hours go into create an hour of content. So if you create a podcast,
I mean, I guess it depends on what content you're making.
It might be 50, okay? Somebody showing up, waking up, turning on their computer and starting to game, it might be 1.01 because they just game, they stop, they're done, they're the only one. Avatar the movie, it might be 100,000. I don't know what it is, right? But there isn't any line. Streamer University took more human hours for every hour of content. Mafiathon took a certain number, right? Reality TV, interesting, is like starting from there and coming this way. And when you know, it's like, okay, we want something that's a little cheaper sometimes to produce than some of the stuff we were creating before. And so what you have is the two sides are just kind of coming like that. And then they're different platforms, but I think the idea is these platforms will be overlapping. And our specialty will always be community. We talk with Prime Video as an example. You know, we've talked about various ideas. I won't say who is talking about with some ideas with them. And part of it is creatively thinking, okay, but if you really want community, those platforms aren't community platforms. So that you're not going to get. So how do you know, and so a lot of the blend is saying, but I still want that community in that live.
Last question, because I don't have too much time. What emergent
What is it that she said? What
trends are you seeing sort of in the creator space coming up on Twitch? Like what sort of interesting user behaviors are you noticing, trends that you think are interesting and worth paying attention
to? Well, the most interesting
okay.
one is
I wonder, you know, not for nothing, but I do genuinely feel like it would have been reasonable to actually ask the question of like, hey, what's going on with all these people just streaming DMCA shit? Like, isn't that? I feel like that's kind of a reasonable fucking question to ask, no? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being silly, but I feel like it's not a terrible thing to ask, honestly.
All that's happening in the clipping world. That's one reason why we're doing the auto clips. If you look at, you know, groups like FaZe or Marlin or Jinxie, and I've talked to all of them, a lot of their rise has come because they just literally will create hundreds of clips from a single stream, often posting them.
Yeah, imagine they could. Well, wait, they do have their own. You do have your own TikTok, even though you refuse to acknowledge it.
While the stream is still live. I think that's something that is really a big part now. And that's one reason why we're investing to make it easier, not just for big creators, but medium and small creators to do that.
The clipping stuff is really insane. It is wild. There's all these clipping agencies and everything. Dan, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you, Taylor.
All right.
I guess the clipping agencies, I mean, there probably is. Guys, we need a clipping agency.
That's it for this week's show.
That's interesting. The whole concept of clipping agencies was interesting because I never really put two and two together. There are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of clips that go out from content creators, but it's never from them. It's never from the content creator. It's always from somebody else. but it is from the content creator. They just pay people to do it. It's the same thing with fucking movies that you see all over TikTok. Like all the movie clips you see on TikTok, they're putting out those clips so that people will go and watch the fucking movie.
Thank you so much again to Stream Elements for helping me record and broadcast this interview. And if you like my content,
Are these like undisclosed ads? I feel like they might be undisclosed ads for some of these things. Okay.
please support me on Patreon.
Or maybe she just can't get advertisers and she's just being thankful. I don't know.
The link below. You can also buy a paid subscription to my tech and online culture newsletter at usermag.co. That's usermag.co. My newsletter is also available through my Patreon. I don't have any brand partnerships right now, so truly,
I guess the second thing was right, huh?
every single dollar of your support makes such a massive difference, and it is the reason that I can continue to do this work. If you're listening to this episode on a podcast
Damn, who's keeping you around, man? What the fuck?
platform, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever one you're listening on. Thanks again for watching, and I'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Power User.
Cool beans. Good video, that Taylor. Thanks.